My BFF is very nice. In the fall, she smells like pumpkin spice. She's the nicest person the world has known. She's as sweet as an ice cream cone. When I need a friend, she's always there, with her special love or cookies to share. My BFF lifts me when I'm down. She's my super silly circus clown. She's A to the S-H-L-E-Y, Biffalicious, and that's no lie. Thank you.
A few weeks ago, I took my wife and my parents out to dinner. It was an Italian restaurant that was recommended to me by a coworker. Looking back, I'd recommend the establishment. Nothing too fancy, nothing too pricey, but good food, good service. The Italian man singing Sinatra over the stereo system was a little loud, but we were right in front of the speakers, and from their clapping, others seemed to enjoy it. From our leaning in to hear each other speak, one could see our opinion. However, I'm not here to plug this restaurant. I'm here to tell you what inspired this essay. Our waiter entered the scene, and as waiters do, we received the menu and the specials in a thick Dutch accent that I assume most customers thought was Italian. I browsed the menu, passed over the salad, and looked for the meats and pastas. Huh, I said out loud, what is puttanesca? In the middle of a packed restaurant with my wife, mom, dad, I took my phone out to look up puttanesca, and I stopped. Now I can imagine some of you scratching your heads right now. What's the problem, Galif? You didn't know something, so you looked it up on your phone? And normally I'd agree with you, but something clicked. Come with me on a journey back in time, 3 years ago. 2011 Galif did not text. 2011 Galif, in his mind, was taking a stand. 2011 Galif wanted to hear your voice, your intonation, your mood. He wanted to pick your brain if you felt like it. If you wanted to talk to 2011 Galif, you called him or he called you. But that time is long gone. 2011 Galif has evolved into texting, and apparently now reacts to not knowing something by looking it up on his phone. For the last few weeks, I've been thinking about the moment I did not hesitate to reach for my phone to find the answer to my puttanesca question. Why not just ask Dutch accent when he came back? As a few people, we have no time not to know. We have access to every bit of information in the palm of our hand, yet it comes and goes. We use it for the good of the moment and move on. We learn nothing. Our short-term memory uses this information in the moment, then erases it because it is unnecessary for our survival. Nothing is stored because there is no pursuit of knowledge, no research, no necessity to keep it. And I too have become guilty of this phenomenon. There was a time as a kid where I just didn't know things. When did the T-Rex roam the earth? 67 million years ago. How many movies have De Niro and Pacino done together? Nice, 3, yeah, there you go. Which WrestleMania did Hulk Hogan fight Andre the Giant?
Right.
WrestleMania 3, see? It was an old man time. Think about this. There was once a time before the internet. It's weird to think that most of you, maybe all of you, do not know, and may never know, what that is like, pending some technological apocalypse. To find an answer, one had to look it up in a library book, up in a book at the library, or maybe one's family dedicated several shelves to encyclopedias, or sometimes you just asked a friend or parent and trusted their answer, for better or for worse. Sometimes we just didn't know things, but that was okay. It was okay not to know, and sometimes that bred creativity, maybe even expanded our imagination. Now back to T-Rex, De Niro, Pacino, and WrestleMania 3. This is not useless information because it serves a purpose. You prove your point, you get your information fix, you win the argument, or you forgot an answer of a question you just looked up on your phone the other day. The problem is, after that, it's gone. In this cycle, where is there room for new ideas? How can we create when we are too busy finding out that the good-looking reporter from Happy Gilmore is actually the mom in Modern Family? Instead of the spontaneity of walking the city to find an interesting bar or restaurant, we see what Yelp has to say and how to get there block by block, step by step. As for now, this is what we do. This is our culture. To me, it seems faceless and a little shallow, yet I partake because of the ease. I guess to some of you, I may sound like the old fart on his porch talking about the old days, but ask yourself this. When is the last time you sat down and had a good think? No screens, no music, no reading, no sensory overload of any kind. Call it meditating, call it what you want, but try sitting in a quiet, comfortable spot and think. And when you close your eyes or stare at the ceiling, ask yourself, what the hell is puttanesca anyway?
can't be this difficult to light a fire. People have been doing it since there have been people. This is arguably the most essential skill humanity has, the one thing that separates us from the lesser beasts, besides thumbs. Fire and thumbs, that's it. Plus, I have modern science in my corner. A little box of Insta-Light kerosene dip sticks, a long tapered butane lighter, half of the Sunday paper. This is not some intricate Boy Scout merit badge earning endeavor here. No need to rub two twigs together to conjure a teeny tiny flame. No. Just a grown-up, borderline functional man struggling to set a pile of chemically enhanced wood on fire and failing. How's the fire coming? It's not. The thing won't light. That's right, the thing. It's the thing's choice. I really have no say in the matter at all. The kindling decided to pick this very moment to be difficult. Let me see it for a sec. Now, I have established myself as a progressive 21st century adult through years of careful consideration, becoming the sort of man who balks at the notion of women earning 30 fewer cents per dollar than their professional male counterparts, eager to encourage friends to buy gender-neutral toys for their children at Christmas. History, why not her story, etc., etc. But the thought of my wife taking over fire-stoking duties is enough to make what little is left of my caveman-y instincts bubble to the surface. No! Listen, it's hissing. That's the thing you want, right? Hissing, fire, Bing Crosby and chestnuts, and wait a second, see? More hissing. We have hisses, ladies and gentlemen. Hissing is bad. Hissing means the wood is wet. There's no possible way that hissing is a bad sound to hear when starting a fire. In fact, hissing is the definitive sound of a top-notch chimney fire. Think about the Yule log. So much hissing. Days and days of hissing. I reach into my pocket to summon Wikipedia. No, crackling is good. Hissing is bad. Hissing means wet wood. Hissing bad? She's absolutely right. Crackling wood, Bing Crosby and chestnuts. Bing would never have time for wet logs. He had songs to sing, children to beat. You don't hear much about that anymore, do you? Bing Crosby's legacy of child abuse. History has airbrushed that out and replaced it with that duet with David Bowie. What was that about? I mean, that's bizarre even by today's standards, let alone... It's on fire! She's shouting at me. It's on fire! I have done it! Reasserted my role as provider and nurturer, bringer of fire. All hail the mighty metropolitan Prometheus. I bestow upon thee the gift of the gods. I look up from my phone to see the arm of the love seat ablaze. A trail of torched newspaper leading back to the fireplace. I perhaps did a haphazard job of separating the newspaper pages before using them to stoke the fire. I swat at the smoldering fabric spastically like a dog pawing a porcupine. The flaming fabric smells like the inside of a toaster. Does the furniture protection plan cover accidental fire damage? Is the warranty now void due to my clearly gross negligence and inability to understand even the fundamental principles of combustion? The smoke detector is going hard and fast now, and Molly has disappeared, presumably off to call the fire department. I look around for something to help me smother the fire, but the only thing within arm's reach is this week's, there we go. The only thing within arm's reach is this week's copy of The New Yorker. I pause for only a fraction of a second. There's supposedly a great write-up of the new Beck album, but then I remembered I have digital access. I can pull up the article later online and read it on the iPad. I begin my assault on the now partially incinerated arm of the love seat, and before long have the magazine on fire as well. Move! I hear the voice behind me and step aside, hands thrown over my head in a confusing gesture that seems to say I have no idea what to do with my body at this moment. Molly opens up on the love seat and magazine with a torrent of foam from the fire extinguisher. Panting and puzzled, she turns to me for an explanation. Magazines are made out of paper. You were trying to put out a fire, started by paper, with more paper. At what point did that make sense to you? The force. I assumed the force of the swing of the rolled-up magazine, which, yes, in hindsight I realize is made out of paper, but at the time I theorized that the sheer force, yes, the sheer force of my swinging would have quelled the fire because of the physics of the whole thing. Hey, where'd you get the fire extinguisher? Under the sink, where it's always been. So, to recap, when faced with an in-house fire, your first move isn't to the fire extinguisher, but is to the New York Times Magazine. The New Yorker. The Times Magazine would have probably worked, come to think of it. Glossier. Fire extinguisher is the better move, though, hands down. How'd you know how to use that thing? It's not like there's much opportunity to practice. Pull tab, point nozzle, press lever. They aim to make it simple, so one could operate it, in times of crisis. Ah, yes, if one were so inclined. Yes, inclined over using the magazine. The wet log mocks me from the fireplace, smug and self-satisfied in its not-on-fireness. Molly collapses onto the couch face first as I scrunch onto the half of a love seat not currently recovering from third-degree burns, and we both, eventually, shiver ourselves to sleep.